I am from beyond. Listen, and all you desire will be yours. Welcome to Spider-Dan and the Secret Balls. Prepare for Prattle.
Anyway, before we get into
You said we weren't going to get real political.
I'm trying not to. So from the red zone over to the dead zone. So I have Congressman. This is my number 3. Congressman Greg Stilson. So he's the main antagonist in the novel and film and TV series of The Dead Zone. Stephen King arguably predicted the rise of Donald Trump with this character. He starts off as this kind of struggling Bible salesman who one day kicks a dog to death and realizes he is destined for greatness. So he begins his political career. He blackmails a criminal biker into being his right-hand man and kind of intimidating, torturing, and killing anybody that gets in Greg Stilson's way. Stilson also makes really bizarre promises in his campaigns. So this is in the book, not the movie.
We've heard that before as well.
Yeah, exactly. Not unlike Mr. Donald Trump, building walls and everything. For example, he says, we're going to trap all the pollution in plastic bags and we're going to jettison them into outer space.
Brilliant.
Just this bizarre, he's this bizarre character that gets people behind him, the people to vote for him and everything. It's very bizarre. So the main character in the film is Johnny Smith. He's played by Christopher Walken. Now, Johnny's been in a coma for several years after a car accident. He's woken up, and when he touches people, he sees kind of psychic visions of the future and of the past, but mostly of the future.
Interesting.
And he sees... this is a David Cronenberg movie as well. It's a great movie. And he sees... it finally shakes... He's met Greg Stilson before, but hasn't shook his hand. Finally shakes his hand, and he sees a vision of Greg Stilson in the White House as president. And it's the middle of the night. It's 3 or 4 in the morning. He's gotten up and he's raving. He's mad. He's insane. He's played to a T by Martin Sheen, who famously played another famous president.
Yes.
A bit more positive one. But in this one, it's the complete opposite. He is a fanatic, a determined fanatic, and will let nothing stand on his way. And he has got the head general of the US Army, or whoever that may be, Secretary of Defense or whatever.
Yeah.
And he is demanding that he activate this computer and set off a nuclear holocaust, starting World War III. And he's saying, I'm the voice of the people, you're not the voice of the people. And eventually the general puts his hand down. It's like a scanning system. He puts his hand down, fingerprints. President Greg Stilson scans his hand and presses the big red button, because our button is bigger than your button. Our button is bigger than your button. And, we've got the big button. Again, pure Trump, pure Donald Trump. And he then lets in the media, he lets in his staff, and they're going, President, there's a peaceful solution to this. You don't have to do it. And he goes, gentlemen, the missiles are flying. Hallelujah, hallelujah, which is probably the most chilling line in the entire film. It's horrifically scary. Again, I won't spoil the end of the movie, but it's fantastic. But Johnny decides that he has to stop him. He has to stop this future from happening. So he makes great lengths to try and stop this from occurring. But again, I'm not going to spoil the film. If you've seen it, you've seen it. If not, if you've read the book, whatever. But have you seen this, Andy? I'm not sure if you have.
I think I might have done. I seem to vaguely remember Martin Sheen going absolutely insane.
Yeah, he's mad. He's mad in this.
Yeah, I did used to watch the West Wing. I'm not sure if I'm getting confused with, he never went absolutely crazy in the West Wing. It was always measured and controlled, wasn't it? So I must have seen this. It must be a bloody long time ago, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's clips online if you want to watch it. Just type in Greg Stilson, and they're great. All the scenes of him are great. This kind of, he's a dangerous guy, and he's made out to be dangerous. There's the scene of him intimidating a guy as well, with his right hand man Sonny. Obviously, there's a lot of other stuff that happens in the movie with the visions and everything.
Yeah.
But this is the like the finale, or the main kind of scariest kind of potential option for the future. And even Stephen King has gone, I imagine this, but I imagine that somebody might come along, and people might buy into this dream, or this making America great again, because he does have that, like, look at what's happened to this country. Look at this. This is, you're all here on a work day. You're unemployed. What are you doing? You need jobs. We need jobs. We need to sort something out. And that's it. And he's a very, very scary individual, and one of the worst politicians, in my opinion.
Well, yeah. Anybody who presses the big red button is absolutely awful.
Yes, exactly. World War III is not, I don't think, any politician's dream, you would hope, to start a nuclear holocaust that engulfs the world.
Hope, anyway.
You would hope. Fingers crossed, you would hope. But who knows? But yeah, that was my number three.
Yeah, that was your number 3, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, let's keep going.
So, my number 2, and it will not shock you at all. In fact, my top 2 will not shock you in any way, shape, or form. But my number 2 is from one of my most favourite action movies, possibly my most favourite action movie, to be fair, and it is The Governor of Mars, Velos Cohagen.
Yes,
you heard that right. Velos Cohagen from Total Recall. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Velos Cohagen film, Total Recall film, not the remake that was done in 2012.
No.
With, that was awful. I'm talking about the good old 1990 Arnie movie. Love it to bits. And
classic.
Cohagen is just the epitome of just like, a horrid character, somebody who's all about profit, somebody who's totalitarian, doesn't care about the little people, doesn't care about anyone but profits and about, himself. And he's frightened as well. Great thing about Cohagen is that he's frightened about change. He's frightened about some higher power, something that he can't control. And because he doesn't want to relinquish any control at all.
Because he controls the airflow, doesn't he? In Mars, he controls the airflow. So he literally, at one point in the film, cuts off the airflow to the mutants, because the mutants, because again, the domes they built were cheap. So then the mutations happened to the people of Mars, the humans that went there, and then he's basically, it's a natural resource. It's like water. It's like a natural resource that he's controlling and taking away from people.
They treat it like oil. They treat oxygen like oil. Like it's the main money-making machine, and that everyone has to, pay the way. Otherwise, they get cut off, and they suffer horrible mutations. And it all stems from I don't really want to spoil it, but the film's been out for a very long time, and everyone practically knows it. But it all stems from, a great discovery under, a massive mountain on Mars. And the film basically is all about that transition, that journey towards uncovering the truth in the conspiracy that is at the center of Mars. Ronnie Cox, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. What an actor he is. And it's very over the top. It's very elaborate, Everything that Ronnie Cox does as an actor is so elaborate, and it plays into the character brilliantly. He's in RoboCop as well, playing a very similar, capitalistic, totalitarian, figure. But here he has direct control of an entire colony of people, thousands of people, a new world that is getting terraformed and, initiating the expanse into the rest of the galaxy. And he's just here at the center of this outpost, just ruling over it like some lord.
Again, like he's not in it very much. Like he's got
he's not
limited screen time. But you always remember like Cohagen, give them the air. You always remember that line, and you'll always remember Cohagen, because he's pure greed. and he's just pure greed. That's it. That's his thing. And if he can't control what's going on, because it's revealed that potentially something could change within this mountain. It could cause a big change to the money he's getting from certain people for certain services and for certain things. He's making a lot of money with the drilling and everything and stuff. But such a good choice as well.
Yes. And like other leader characters, like we've discussed, he has a henchman that does all the heavy lifting for him, like Michael Ironside, plays Richter, and he's basically the henchman that goes around, does all the dirty work, clearing up, after all these freedom fighters trying to, liberate Mars. He's the one that's cleaning up for Cohagen and doing all the dirty work and chasing down Arnie throughout the entirety of the film. So there seems to be like a through line with these characters, that they're very much sat on their thrones, enjoying what they're doing and getting other people to do the dirty work for them. But, it all stems from them. It all stems from what they're doing, their mentality, their political outlook. I mean, it is a totalitarian, militaristic setup with Velos Cohagen. It's all very much this is it.
Yeah, it's almost like a military state. There's terrorism going on, or freedom fighting.
Yeah. They pin it as terrorism, don't they? Yeah. Propaganda again. Another thing. They put it through as propaganda when it is literally just freedom fighters, like the underground resistance. Like the French resistance in the Second World War. It's that same thing. They were all pinned as terrorists when actually they were trying to free, France. It's the same thing here.
And he's intelligent as well, because there's this whole scheme and plot and a lot of twists and turns in the story. But he's kind of the puppet master. He's pulling all the strings to get what he's after and to reestablish control. It reminds me a little bit of like in the Matrix, where they're kind of trying to reestablish the order. And they're kind of using Neo as the kind of puppeteering Neo to kind of, we've got to do this every so often. We've got to reset the system, that whole thing. Kind of reminds me a little bit of that, and in some regards, that he's just trying to reestablish, let them blow off some steam and let them get as far as they possibly can, these freedom fighters. Yeah. And then let them fail, then close the trap, then when they're at their most hopeful, destroy them, break their hope, break their will. That is when you do it. And I think
exactly how it plays out as well, isn't it? But then they don't account for Douglas Quaid, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and just not following through on the plan. He completely rejects his previous life and everything, and Cohagen can't handle it. He literally breaks apart at the end of the film. He's like, this is not how it's supposed to go. You're not supposed to do this. Everything's supposed to be me. It's supposed to be me. It's all me.
Yeah.
And then his eyeballs get sucked out.
I was going to say he gets his comeuppance. He definitely gets his comeuppance. I think you've got an upcoming video on Total Recall, haven't you?
Yes. I've recorded it. I just need to do a little bit of editing. Nice. But it's just basically an exploration of my favorite film of Dreams of Mars. Paul Verhoeven masterpiece. That's what.
Very nice. Very nice.
I think you gave me partial title help there. Yeah.
Well, I do like to help, free of charge. Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to that deep dive, because it's one of my favorite films. So yeah, excellent choice, excellent character. Well, I mean, awful character, if you want to.
Yeah,
it's terrible. Terrible.
Shocking behavior.
So I'm going to go over to DC Comics for my second choice. I'm going to bring up the Secretary of Meta-Human Affairs, Amanda Waller from the Suicide Squad.
Nice.
So there was a lot of kind of political comics around in the 80s, and Suicide Squad was no different. Obviously, the movie's not very political at all, really. But I tell you, disappointingly so. But the one thing I did like about the movie, Amanda Waller was done right. Viola Davis is cold, calculating, considers herself a patriot, considers people, disposable, and will use them to, facilitate the means and to do what she needs to do to get to be done.
For me, she's one of the very few success stories of the DC filmic universe. Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. Though one of the very few successful things I'd like to see. You know, I don't know what they're doing. Are they going to reboot everything, or are they just crimping it out? You know,
I mean, there's a sequel coming by James Gunn, which I'm actually quite looking forward to.
Yeah.
It's looked quite good.
It's a pseudo sequel, isn't it? It's like it's a sequel, but it's not. It's.
We'll see.
I'm just very confused by the whole.
I'll be honest.
It's a different story entirely, a different subject entirely, but.
They've got the right actors back. They've got the actors I like back. You know, everything
Everyone else is vanished.
They've got the comic book aspects look fun. It's James Gunn. He knows how to do weird, unconventional comic book characters, as we know. You know, the Suicide Squad film was an attempt to be Guardians of the Galaxy. So why not hire the guy who directed Guardians of the Galaxy to do the sequel? Makes perfect sense to me. But Amanda Waller, you don't get to be a black plus-size woman in politics and amass as much power as Amanda Waller does in the 80s without being hard as fuck. There's a reason they call her the Wall. She is impenetrable. She doesn't go down easy. She will do everything she needs to do. She will find out Batman's secret identity and use it against him and blackmail him with it. She's almost like what Batman could be if he worked for the government. Mentally.
That brain power, isn't it? The brain power is immense.
Exactly. That.
And she goes toe-to-toe with some of like the most powerful characters as well, doesn't she? I mean, Superman won't even mess with her.
No.
Because he knows exactly what she is.
Yeah, and she can blackmail, browbeat the best of them. You know, she gets the results she needs to get, regardless of what. She's devious, deadly, and highly questionable, all of her motives. But you could say she's actually one of the best politicians as well, because she gets the job done. Regardless of how you agree with her methods, she will do anything to get it done. Even if she gets her hands dirty herself. She's been to like Apocalypse, fought like Granny Goodness and all the kind of dark side Legion, the fatal furies, female furies. You know, she's not just one that coordinates from a computer or a laptop. She will get in there. You know, in the Suicide Squad movie, where she just coldly kills all the witnesses, all the people working for her, because she's the true villain. She's the true evil in the Suicide Squad. But then again, she is quite. There's a lot of backstory, which is like, fucking hell, she's been through quite a lot. You know, she had a family, they all died, she had a husband. You know, there's reasons why she's so cold. And she's a mass manipulator on like another level. She's up there with like Lex Luthor, you know, Batman when he needs to be. You know, she is one of the big brains in the DC universe. And like, for example, this power, this money, this is power you can't buy. When she knew that the Suicide Squad was going to be closed down, when Task Force X, the government was going to say, we don't need it anymore. She said, right, let's get the group together. I've got one last mission. And she went and killed these drug runners. They asked for mercy. She didn't show them any. She took responsibility for all the murders, got locked up for a year and was out. Like, she has dirt on every single person in the DC universe. And that is why she is dangerous. She's on a danger level, you know, up there with some of those more cosmic level threats in a way, but on a different kind of scale. But yeah, she is the anti-Batman. She is paranoia. She's preparation. She's information gathering on another level. Yeah. And that's why I've included her in the list. I think she's one of the most complex and well-written comic book characters there has ever been, I think.
Yeah, most definitely. And I was very disappointed when they introduced her in the CW shows like Arrow and The Flash, and they couldn't use her because obviously what she's like in the comic books, you know, she's very ultra, she's very, you know, like you said, she's very cold-hearted and merciless. They couldn't do it properly in the CW shows, and eventually they just killed her off, probably because of the usage in the Suicide Squad film. Yeah, they just killed her off. And when she goes, rather than being something grandiose or like, you know, meaningful or whatever, I can't even remember how she dies in the show now. I can't even remember, and it's such a waste. I remember when they cast, I can't remember if they cast a player, but I was like, okay, cool. We're getting Amanda Waller. This is going to be brilliant. Got Reverse Flash. We've got Deathstroke. Got Amanda Waller now. It's going to be brilliant. But just fizzled out. just like the CW shows, fizzled out. You can't use Deathstroke anymore, so Arrow fizzled out completely.
I'd highly recommend any of her DC animated appearances. So like Justice League Unlimited, she was great in, and any of the kind of Suicide Squad DC.
Escape from Arkham, I think.
Escape from Arkham,
Arkham Assault, brilliant.
Yeah, and Hell to Pay, I think she's in as well. Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay. Both really good. Check those out. She's great in them as well. Like
definitely.
She is like, she'll blow somebody's head off in a split second if you don't do what she says. And she's not
she does
bluffing.
That on Assault on Arkham, doesn't she?
Yeah.
It's just somebody's like, I'm not doing this. Just
dead.
Yeah. As well, I do hope we see more of her in the future. A lot more of her. I hope they give her her dues, especially with Viola Davis, because Viola Davis is such a great actor.
She's amazing. Like I think she's one of the like. I think that's just perfect casting. I genuinely think that's perfect casting. But yeah, amazing. Either the worst politician or the best politician. It's up to you. But Amanda Waller is my number 2.
There's no real secret about what my number 1's going to be, to be quite honest. And there's no two ways of looking at it either. He's not going to be the greatest politician ever. He's quite simply the worst to ever have affected a galaxy far, far away. And it is Chancellor Palpatine. Emperor Palpatine himself, the guy who initiated Order 66, massacred the Jedi, and then threw the galaxy into an oppression of Imperial rule.
He is.
For me, you don't get any more evil. You don't get any more evil than Chancellor Palpatine, the Emperor himself. The force-crushing, force-wielding maniac. Strategic genius. Absolutely strategic genius. And that's something that I've appreciated as I've got older, is the level of absolute genius that Chancellor Palpatine has in the prequels, of constructing, this propaganda regime, of playing the Clone Wars, and getting the separatists to fight each other and everything, and instigating the complete purge of the Jedi Order when nobody was looking, really. Everyone's attention was focused elsewhere, and there he is, planned down to a T, down to one very simple order, 2 numbers, and the galaxy is thrown into turmoil forever. Brilliant. One of my favourite characters, Emperor Palpatine, and like I said, I've got more of an appreciation of him as I've got older, more of an appreciation of the performance by Ian McDiarmid as well, and just basically the detail that comes from the character, especially when you look at like the Clone Wars, the series. You get a lot more sort of like in-depth look at the way Palpatine, and as the Emperor, Darth Sidious, the way he switches between the two characters to, manipulate the galaxy in each and every way. He doesn't just manipulate one side, he manipulates both sides, and he manipulates everything down to a T as well. It's, the level of detailing of what he does is magnificent. And as I'll keep saying, as I've got older, I appreciate it even more.
Are you turning into a Chancellor Palpatine?
Me myself?
Are you leaning towards executing a lot of Jedi? I mean, you've got all the lightsabers for it, so.
I do, yeah. I've got all that. Yeah, I mean, if you look at any of my videos, my room is literally a homage to the dark side, really, isn't it? I do have Emperor Palpatine's lightsaber as well on display above me. I've always been fascinated by the Imperial forces in Star Wars, sort of the uniformity and just the ultra, the ultra power. They just have so much power, and it is, again, it's a parallel towards militaristic might, that we saw in World War II when the war machine was gliding across Europe without hesitation. That's the thing with the Imperial Army, the Imperial forces. They just glide across the galaxy, and the spearhead of that is the Emperor. It's all his command. He foresees everything. He knows what he wants to achieve, and he knows how he's going to achieve it. That's what makes the character for me. He's quintessentially the most evil person in cinematic history, but at the same time, he's still shrouded in mystery.
I mean, even in his latest film, where he comes back, whether you like it or not, that's still shrouded in mystery as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah,
for good
I'm
or
not going
ill.
to get into it too much. You'll awaken the dark side if we start down that path again. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. His power is unmatched by anyone. You know, despite the fact that he gets beaten twice, sure, his power and his knowledge of, you know, the Force is unmatched by anyone. It's interesting that you can explore much more about his past and his history, and also his future after Return of the Jedi when he dies the first time. You know, there's so much to explore in that. You know, the hidden secrets, the hidden bases. You know, there's a lot of sort of like conspiracy theories about like the Nazis developing super weapons and having hidden bases and things like that, and looking for historical relics and mythological relics, like, you know, we see it in the Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, when they find the Ark of the Covenant. You know, the Nazis wanted this ultra power, and the same thing happens with Palpatine in sort of like the expanded, you know, like the Clone Wars and things like that. He's looking for Jedi relics and all these other relics to enhance his power, to enhance his control in the galaxy. So the parallels are there between sort of like a real world, you know, thing that we had in the Second World War and, you know, the fictional galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, I've always loved the Emperor. He's always been that kind of, you know, fascist evil wizard type. You know, he's almost like a Wicked Witch type thing going on, especially like
definitely
with the cloak.
Yeah, it's so extrovert. It's unbelievable,
and it's like
it's ham on toast as well.
Oh yeah,
in Return of the Jedi, it's pure ham on toast.
Your friends on the Endor moon will not survive. You know. Love it. But I think what you were saying about the prequels, like, I mean, I'm sure kids back in, you know, 1999 or whenever the episode 1 was out probably didn't want to see all the political maneuverings.
Yeah.
They probably just wanted a bit more lightsaber battles and guns.
Yeah.
But like looking back on it now, I think that's one of the parts of the films that holds up. You know, the love story is shite. You know, a lot of the other stuff is bull crap.
Even as a hardened Star Wars fan, I can admit the love story is garbage.
Yeah,
a lot of the extra stuff in it is garbage, but
that actually the political maneuvering and the subtle kind of nods and moves, and you know, and I love some of the lines as well, like this is how democracy dies. Not with, what was it? How does it go? Not this is
how liberty dies, with thunderous applause.
Yeah. Or the, you know, I am the Senate, you know, all that sort of stuff.
My favorite line.
Yeah, and again, like you said, like he's not just somebody who like, he's a mass manipulator as well, much like all these other characters. He's a mass manipulator and can get people to do what they want, even like subtly, before, you know, even they know what they're doing. He's already got them doing it, you know, like Anakin or someone like that, or like, you know, Jar Jar Binks to a lesser extent, and some other characters. You know, he can do that, but also he's a physical power. He's a physical threat. You know, he can, you know, spinning attack at you. He's got a lightsaber. He's got force lightning. You know, he is physically powerful, along with being, you know, like, you know, mentally, you know, a force to be reckoned with as well. So yeah, he's terrifying in more than a million ways. But yeah, absolutely excellent choice there, Andy. I think that is. I don't think I can better it with mine, but I'm going to try.
Oh, I'm sure you will. You got something. I can't wait for it. It's going to be something so out of this world.
It really isn't. It in a way, it's quite an obvious one, I think. You know, I've gone through maybe some less obvious ones, but this is definitely an obvious one. So again, like this is much in the vein of James Dale from your number 5. I've gone with Mayor Larry Vaughn from Jaws.
Yes. Oh, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I was thinking, I was like, oh, he must be putting in his honourable mentions. Fantastic.
No, it's here. Like, Larry Vaughn is here. So everyone knows the mayor from Jaws. You know, doesn't listen. You know, I didn't want someone that was kind of outright evil, bordering on like a dictator, like Palpatine.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted someone who's just so fucking greedy and stupid, and has no foot in the real world, and does not serve the people, that he becomes dangerous because of that. Like because of these flaws, because of him just being a greedy piece of shit. You know, he basically, there's an attack, shark attack. Brody smartly, you know, says, right, we've got to close the beaches.
We can't do that. It's the 4th of July.
So Brody goes to close the beaches, and straight away Larry goes, whoa, what are you doing there? What are you doing there? And he's like, there's been a shark attack. Well, you know, it's almost the 4th of July. It's the summer. This is it's an island. We need people to visit. You know, we need the money. You know, you shout barracuda. People say, oh, what? But you shout shark, and then you got to panic on the 4th of July. He even goes so far to get the coroner to come with him to confront Brody, and he gets the coroner to lie. A propeller did that damage, not a shark attack. And he's like, look, the coroner even says he's mistaken. And later on, oh God, what's his name? Richard Dreyfuss's character comes in and goes, what idiot thought this was a fucking propeller? This was absolutely a shark attack. And the coroner's like, not me. And he's just like, you know, and that's dangerous. And again, there's another attack with the little boy who gets killed.
Yeah, the little boy, yeah.
And then again, there's a press conference, and Brody's going, we'll shut the beaches. We are definitely shutting the beaches. And the mayor goes, yeah, but for only 24 hours. And you're just like, and he's like, what are you doing? You're undermining everything I'm doing. We're trying to protect people. And it's like, we can't, because there are people in the meeting that are disagreeing with closing the beaches, because they're like, that's their livelihood. And this kind of comes back to, you know, UK politics again with the eat out to help out. You know, instead of like open the beaches, it was open the businesses. You know, and potentially has led to a second, more severe lockdown, and potentially more severe measures coming towards Christmas. You know, thanks Boris. Thanks Rishi Sunak. Thank you for all that. So yeah.
You said we wouldn't get political.
Sorry, I'm trying. Anyway, fictional. We'll stay with the fiction.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm just saying there are similarities. That's all.
The parallels, yes.
There are parallels to real world, and I think there always will. There always will be.
It's the irresponsibility of the character, isn't it? It's just completely irresponsible, focusing on making money. Who do you trust? And you know, it costs more people their lives, doesn't it?
And the only time, like, he keeps the beach open, and he's got one of his friends there, and he's like, why is no one going in the water? Go in the water. And Brody is still doing his job, even though he's got all these hurdles to jump with the mayor. He's still trying to do his job, even though the mayor is making it impossible for him. He's still trying to do it, and he gets this poor guy to go in the water. Eventually, they go in the water, and then some kids are playing a game, and there's a shark fin.
Yeah.
And then the real shark turns up after the kids playing the prank, and then at the hospital he's having like a nervous breakdown because he's like, my kids are on that beach. He's like, give me the money so I can hire Quint. Give me that money now. And that's the last you see of him. And he's just like he's just a mess by that point. But he just only when it hit home for him and his family did he care. Only at that point where he was like, oh yeah, maybe I could have died or my family could have died. That's when he takes on board. He's also in Jaws 2. Believe it or not, they voted him back in. After everything that happened in Jaws, they voted him back in as the mayor. And again, doesn't believe Brody when he says there's a shark.
I mean, literally, that's one thing about the sequels, isn't it? It's just like, he can't make the same mistakes twice, but he does. And he's an absolute muppet. Yeah. And instead of random people and whatever getting eaten, it's a bunch of kids that get eaten this time. So it just makes it even frigging worse, doesn't it?
Yeah. So he is awful. And I always think about like Krypton. Like everyone's like, oh, Krypton will never explode. You're crazy. You know, it's that kind of like, no, maybe we should listen. Maybe we should listen. Like just this one time, let's just listen. No. You know, it's the way you're thinking is too dangerous. he is the epitome of a bad mayor. I think everyone would agree. I think the whole world would agree with me on this point. He is just plain awful, and he is as cheap as those pastel suits he wears in the film. He's awful.
Oh, they really are awful, aren't they?
They are awful.
People used to wear them. What's going on?
I think that's just, again, like, he's got the false kind of like, hi, I'm a happy-go-lucky mayor. Like, he even stops. It's Hooper, isn't it? That's it, Hooper. There's a bit where they capture a shark. Some fishermen like blow it up, shoot it, whatever, and they're like, right, let's cut it open and see if it's digested any of the children or any of that. And he stops him then as well. And it's like there's potential we could know whether this is the right shark.
Yeah.
And he says, no, not going to do it. We're celebrating his photos. He said, I don't want to cut it open and then the little boy fall out. And he's not saying do it right there and then. He's saying just take it to one side and cut it open, which is something they do in secret.
Yeah.
But terrible, terrible mayor.
Delightful.
So that's it. That's our both of our 5.
That's top 5, yeah.
That is top 5. So we're going to go on to honourable mentions, and I do have some listener comments as well.
Splendid.
So we're running a little over, but I'm just going to split into 2. You know how we do. We always run over a little bit.
Oh, we do, don't we?
We've
got to stop behaving.
I think the top 5s are hard to do, though. I think that they always end up being the ones I cut in half. Anyway, so let's hear your honourable mentions, Andy, before we go on to the listener comments.
Do you want them all in one go?
Go for it.
So, my honourable mentions, I have President Charles Logan from 24. One of your and one of mine actually now as well.
Yeah.
Great followers. I Am Jack's Musings mentioned it.
Yes, good man.
Brilliant,
good man.
Brilliant character. I forgot completely about him. Played by Gregory Itzin. He's just a terrible president. Makes all the wrong decisions. Completely goes against the recommendations of Jack Bauer and CTU and all that. Awful guy. Awful. Terrible. Yeah, you've never seen 24, have you?
I've not. I'd like it's a show I think I would enjoy. I think if I sat down to it. Is it on any like streaming platforms? Is it?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I don't think it is on Amazon or Netflix or anything like that.
I'll have a look. If I can find it, I'll probably give it a watch because I've heard.
Long. Yeah.
Wait, isn't it like only 5 days or something?
Yeah. 8 days worth of chaos, but
what
600 bloody episodes.
Yeah, bloody hell. Oh dear. Yeah, I'd like to give that one a try. If I think somebody else responded, but we're going to listener comments in a bit. But anyway.
So next one, Mayor Quimby from The Simpsons, the worst mayor ever. Dan Castellaneta does the voice, and Mayor Quimby, bumbling, everything you'd think about bumbling.
Philanderer.
Yeah. Money launderer. All of it.
Has links to the mob.
Yeah. Literally everything. Everything you could possibly think would go wrong and be done wrong by someone in power, Mayor Quimby is exactly that.
Brilliant choice. One of my favourites.
Yeah, and then I've gone for a character you might not be familiar with from the TV show The Wire, and it's Senator Clay Davis, played by Isaiah Whitlock Jr.
I've heard
brilliant character.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've not watched the show, but I've heard of Clay Davis. Definitely. Yeah.
He's just completely corrupt right the way through, just pure corruption, and because it obviously set in Boston, it's just that old, complete, unimaginative. The way he goes about everything is just, I'm just going to be corrupt, I'm just going to do this. And, he's just awful character. Awful. Brilliant as well. Joffrey Baratheon from Game of Thrones.
Oh, I know Joffrey. I'm familiar with Joffrey.
The boy would be king, who's just an absolute nightmare of a character.
Yeah.
Horrible character. Quintessentially the worst you can possibly think of.
Yeah, I think everyone hates Joffrey. Like, I think even this. I've seen bits of the show here and there, and I've seen bits of Joffrey, and he's just a little shit, isn't he? He's just a little fucking shit. He's the boy who got everything he wanted. He's the spoiled child, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I know he gets. I think I know how he gets his comeuppance. So yeah. But that's an excellent choice as well. Yeah.
Yes. And then my final honourable mention is one that, you know, I think it could quite possibly have snuck into my top 5, and it's only a very small part. It's a part that I always think of, and it is Senator Rourke from Sin City, played by Powers Booth. And he's literally only in it for about a minute and a half. And he's just talking to Hartigan, played by Bruce Willis, and just laying out everything that he's going to do to make his life a misery. You know, he's going to put him away, he's going to lock him away because he maimed his boy, and he's going to use every ounce of his political power, every ounce of his knowledge, his supporters, to make sure Hartigan will never see the light of day again and suffer for it. And I love it because Powers Booth just chews the scenery in that one bit. It's completely, everything zooms into this one little sequence and this one character who's just stood at the end of Hartigan's bed and just laying all this out. Brilliant monologue, brilliant little scene, really deep, dark, horrible character. And you get every ounce of that character from this one small scene. You know everything about him. You know what he's about. You know what he can do and what he will do. Really great character. I love him in the graphic novels as well. Such a brilliant character. I never followed it through though in Sin City 2. Terrible film.
Fucking hell, awful.
Waste of time. But the first film, this one sequence, great.
I think you've got, like me, you've got all the Sin City books, and there's so much better. They made up their own story for most of it.
Why?
They've got great stories there, but they work. Why bother making up something new that doesn't really say anything? You've got a gambler character. You've got, it's just awful. The only bit I enjoy is the bit that's based on a book, which is the Dame to Kill For section.
Yeah.
Sack off the rest. It's all shit. Just keep that section. Sack off the rest. Awful. But yeah, I like that Powers Booth is there talking about power. I dig that. Yeah. I think that's really cool. And it's a great little monologue, and he just, it's a shame he's gone now. We lost him a year or so ago, I think. A great actor. He will be missed, certainly, and that's one of his better performances, even though, like, steals the scene. I mean, it's him and Bruce Willis in a bed. Bruce Willis doesn't say anything, but it's just magnetic, that performance. So highly recommend. He's great in Tombstone as well and other stuff.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he is. Brilliant in Tombstone.
Yeah. Is that all your honourable mentions?
That is it. That's all my honourable mentions.
All right, I'll give you mine. So
go for it.
Here we go. So my honourable mentions start with conservative. Conservatory. He's a conservatory. That's what he is.
He'll let you out into outer space.
He makes an awful politician because he's a conservatory. So conservative MP Alan Bastard from The New Statesman. So this was a comedy way back when, played by Rick Mayall. And it's just it was just like an ITV show. I think a lot of the episodes are on YouTube if you want to watch them. It's just like it's a political satire, and he's like the worst conservative MP in the world, and it's hilarious. It's so funny. Like he's trying to bring back hanging and things like that. It's stupid, and he kept doing it as well. This character he kept doing for the rest of his kind of career. I think they do a podcast sort of thing about it. He's done a few YouTube videos, like I think in like 2006, and kind of did some other kind of appearances, up until he died. But he's a fantastic character because he's just a bastard. He's just an ass. And Rick Mayall is like one of my favorite actors anyway. He's hilarious. Check him out. Going back to DC, I've gone with District Attorney Harvey Dent.
Yes, yeah.
Now this one, or Two-Face, if you want to use his villain name. Now this one almost made the list, very, very close to making the list. It's the mayor of Sunnydale from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Very
Yeah.
good. Very good.
It's weird because he's almost like this Will Ferrell kind of affable, nice fellow. And it's set up quite early on where they're like, oh no, I don't want to speak to the mayor. You know, that he's this scary thing, but he's actually like, oh, hello, fellow demons, how are you? And then in the finale of that series, when you meet him, he manipulates the whole thing, to his own ends. Then turns into a giant snake slug monster and destroys the high school. Perfect.
Magic.
It's just, it was one of my favorite Buffy villains. I think all the main villains are pretty good, but he's one of my the season villain for me. Is one of my favorites. Fantastic performance. I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head.
No,
I'm sure
I just remember in that scene. I never watched Buffy fully, to be honest. I've only ever caught bits and pieces, but I just picture that now. Jesus,
I feel like
I need to watch Buffy properly. I need to get into it.
It's on Amazon. I need to finish it off, to be honest. Yeah, it's on Amazon. Yeah, you can watch it.
Oh wow, Jesus!
So get on it. It's good stuff. Like it's good. Like all the way through, it's pretty solid. And that's my favorite. Probably one of my favorite seasons when he comes into it, because I think he's just a great smiley villain, and he's just deliciously evil as well. Next one is Ambassador Damien Thorne from the Omen 3 Final Conflict, played by so Damien, the son of the devil, grows up to be an ambassador like his father from the first film, and I think he's vying for the presidency. I think, if I remember right.
Yeah, that's his end game, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And it's played by Sam Neill, very chillingly by Sam Neill. So I have included that. We mentioned President Lex Luthor. From Superman already.
We need to see that in a film. We need to see President Lex Luthor.
I think now Trump's out of office, I think we may well see something like that, maybe.
But it can't. Who's the actor playing Lex Luthor at the minute in the DC universe?
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, it can't be him. No. I wouldn't buy him if he's President Lex Luthor.
Nah, I don't want that. And the final one, I've gone with Senator Eleanor Shaw from The Manchurian Candidate, played by Meryl Streep.
Brilliant choice. Absolutely brilliant choice.
Yeah, that's
very good. What a film that is.
Good film. Good film. I need to see the original, actually. I really enjoyed the remake, but I need to see the original.
Yeah.
I think it's what's her name? Murder, She Wrote. Angela Lansbury. I think she plays the original Senator Shaw. Right. Well, that was our honourable mentions. So I'm going to move on to listener comments. So I've asked people who they think the worst fictional politicians are. So let's head over to Instagram, first of all. So my work colleague, Imran.Tahir, on Instagram, he says either Romak Alimov from Six Underground, the Netflix Michael Bay film with Ryan Reynolds, or Admiral General Aladdin from The Dictator 2012, the Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is awful. He is awful. I've not seen Six Underground, but I can definitely agree Admiral General Aladdin is not a good man.
What a pick that is. Fantastic.
Okay, moving on to Facebook. They're all over the show. They're all on all the different platforms. This has been a popular one, to be fair. It's a popular question.
Good.
Andrew Ferguson says, I don't think you can have this list without Gaius Baltar from Battlestar Galactica. And he says, such a complex figure, but becoming president because of a letter written by a dying Laura Roslin, asking you to be better and getting offended, only to then cause the deaths of thousands through ill-thought-out actions is pretty shocking. You've seen Battlestar, haven't you?
Yes, I love it. And I'm ashamed to admit that he completely passed me by for this and for my honourable mentions as well. I always forget that he becomes president of the colonies. I always forget. Whenever I rewatch it, I've rewatched the series about 5 or 6 times, maybe even more. I tried to get Natalie into it recently. She couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
But I always forget that he becomes... president of the colonies, and he does. He makes horrific choices that cost the lives of thousands. When the human civilization is literally decimated anyway. The loss of one or two people is seen as a tragedy, and he is responsible for thousands just going. He makes deals with the Cylons, the machines that are chasing them across the galaxy. He makes a deal with them that should secure everyone's lives and whatever, but it doesn't. It's just horrible. It's awful. He is literally a terrible character. Highly recommend Battlestar Galactica. It's fucking brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's one of the best sci-fi shows that's ever been made.
Great. Well, it sounds like a very good choice. I'm not that familiar with Battlestar, but
you can lend the DVDs if you want, man.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Maybe. Okay, moving over to Twitter, the Twitterverse. Ben is a nerd, and that's at Ben_nerdchat. That's from the Nerd Chatting team. He says, "Is the secret answer Donald Trump?" Yes. The secret answer is Donald Trump. He cannot be real. Surely not. He cannot be the president. Or was the president.
Reminds me of that Simpsons episode when the two Kang and Kodos take over Al Gore and Clinton. Is it Al Gore? It's not Al Gore, is it?
Is it Bob Dole? Bob
Dole, yeah. Clinton.
I love the bit where it's like, it's a two-party system. You've got to vote for one of us. And they're like, we'll go for a third party. Well, throw your vote away.
Sir, we're really concerned. People are starting to question why you're holding hands. Well, if you can think of another way to share long protein strings, I'd like to hear it. Fantastic.
Yeah. You know what? They would have been good additions as well. Kang and Kodos would have been good additions to this list. So he said, "Is Donald Trump? Is the secret answer Donald Trump? Because he can't really be this fucking bad, can he?" Question mark. Okay, the Emperor. So Emperor Palpatine.
Good.
Or number one. So supreme, unlimited power.
Good.
And here's the comment from at I am Jack's musings. So that's President Charles Logan in 24. He says he is a complete shitweasel.
Yeah. He is a complete shitweasel.
Yeah, complete shitweasel. And then Nerds Chatting. So that's at Nerds Chatting. So the previous comment from Ben, that's the podcast he does. So check them out. So that's at Nerds Chatting. They've responded going, yes, he's the worst. Weak, stupid, dangerous.
Yes, very much so.
Well, I've got to agree. I've not seen it, but I've got to agree. And at 20th Century Geek, another podcast, check them out as well. I'm always amazed Mayor Quimby lasted so long.
Yes.
Another excellent choice.
How many terms in office has he had now?
I don't know if they're even. I don't think anyone's even noticed there hasn't been an election. That's what I think. We're just like, just carry on. That's all the honourable mentions. So that's it. And this is the end of our podcast. Long as it is, it's always good. It's always good long discussions and some good political anecdotes and things. But yeah, if you're looking to get away from real life and real life politics. Check this podcast out. Check some of the programs, TV, books, anything we've mentioned. It's all good shit. I love a good bit of entertainment. Yes. Where can people find you on the social medias, or where can they find your YouTube channel?
Yes. My YouTube channel is Angry Andy Reviews. Just type that into YouTube and it should pop up. You might have to do a bit of scrolling, but it is on there. You can find me on Twitter at Andy_review, and there's a couple of links to the Facebook page there as well. But yeah, just check out the YouTube channel, give us a subscribe. It's slowly crawling up. I've had some pretty successful videos recently, so yeah, just check it out and see what you think. There's a couple of videos of the two of us, like doing a couple of reviews and discussions. Recently, we've looked at Rambo, we've looked at The Rock, which should be up by the time this deploys, your podcast deploys, and we seem to have a good sort of discussion, similar to what we have here as well, don't we?
Oh yeah, it's all good stuff. Like again, we like to delve deep into these things and kind of and see what comes out, whatever that may be, but we do have a good time, and I hope everyone else is having a good time. Everyone's keeping safe. Christmas coming up. After this, I'm going to start the alternativity stories season. So we're going to look at alternative holiday movies, be they Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, you name it. If it's even remotely set at Christmas, I'm probably going to do something on it.
So, I know what's coming.
We've got one with Andy, which is it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Good. Awful film, but it's going to be good.
We'll see. Check that out when it comes out. We'll keep you posted. You can find me on the social medias. So Facebook, it's at Secret Balls. Twitter, it's at Dan_Balls. Instagram, Spider Dan Secret Balls, and the podcast is available pretty much everywhere. There are previews available on YouTube as well. But yeah, find me anywhere you can, whichever is your preferred podcasting device. Right. Well, as always, we're going to have to sign off, and we're going to end this meeting of Parliament, if you will. We've made our own political decisions. We've cast our votes. And now we're done. I
would like to declare that I am the Senate,
and I will humbly pull out of this election because I don't want to mess with your unlimited power. Absolutely not. Don't want to even go near. You've got all those lightsabers. I don't even want to imagine what you could do to my body with those. So yes.
Ooh, that went a bit weird.
I did. It went a bit saucy. Okay, this is a good time. Before we start our own political sex scandal, I think this is a good time to leave.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Andy. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you for Alternativity Stories. Goodbye.
Bye.